Epsom Derby is on while waiting. Okay, watching something. Christopher's on in the UK too. Alain's on in Montreal. Roger's on in Athens, Greece. 34 degrees there. Very nice. Wolfie's on in the UK. We got a nice contingent of people on from the UK today. And 16 degrees for Christopher. Sarah's on in Germany. Here it's about, well, when it gets a little warm, well, a little later in the day, it's supposed to be about 24 degrees. It's kind of drizzly today. It's supposed to rain a lot. They said between 30 to 40 millimeters of rain, but so far it hasn't been that. So I'm very happy about the way the front lawn is starting to look. I'll show you that in a minute. 19 degrees in Germany. We have had some beautiful weather this week, as high as 34 degrees and mostly in around the mid-20s. So there's a bit of color on me too, and not just the weight of my beard that I need to shave again. Roger wants a little rain his way too. All right, that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to show you outside because that was the thumbnail. So, recap. Last week, there's Media in Finland. 16 degrees for her. Sunny in Helsinki. Let's go outside here. It is not currently raining at all, which is nice. So let's flip this around. And you can see, last Sunday, we put a new layer of topsoil down, and I planted clover, and in just a week, we have sprouts coming up. So I'm hoping this patch that was all dirt in my front lawn will all be green soon, and then I can mow, and then I can reseed again in some of the bald spots. Because if I go over here, you can see the hill here has many bald spots. So I'd put a whole layer of topsoil down here and do clover on this side too. And clover supposedly will push out some of the other weeds and will grow in nice and thick. And then every couple years, whenever I see bald spots, I'll just replant. That's the hope. So you can see it is starting to come along. And my grass is partly grass, partly violets, some dandelions. So there's lots of stuff in here to do. What else we see? Roger's gonna get up into the 30s. Carla's on today from Mexico. You can see the trees. This used to be a nice pink color. The blossoms have all fallen off now, but this is the next project. This tree here, I think we're gonna cut it out. It's grown nice and tall, but it is not healthy all the way around. You can see, get in there, it's dead. And where it doesn't get any sun on this side, it is gross. So we thought, if we can chop this grouping of trees down, it will open up so much light to the front of the house. We can do something with that bed. I always liked the nice little tunnel it had of going to the front, but it's not looking great now. So I think we're gonna make some changes in there. And it's really nice out now. It's supposed to be pouring rain today, and so far it's nice. There was gonna be a Corvette show today. I don't know if it went on or not, or if they decided to cancel it because of the rain. So I was gonna go film that, but because it was supposed to be a rainy day, I didn't. Right now it's all right. All right, back inside the house. Lock ourselves back inside the office again. But that's what's going on with planting in my front lawn, and I'm pretty pleased about the progress so far. So hopefully the root system will grow nice and deep, and when I go to mow it in hopefully another week or so's time, it will be all right. Welcome, Poker. Oh, 10 degrees in Australia for Stephen. Welcome, Stephen. And publicly, I will apologize for abbreviating your contribution yesterday's video. And if you had problems with yesterday's video, I put it up, found that there was an error in it, took it down. Well, I didn't find there was an error, and Jilly B let me know that there was an address showing in it. So I took it down, put it back up. So some of you tried to access it. It was so private, couldn't do that. But it's all good now. And so, yeah, Stephen, I apologize for abbreviating your portion at the end with the limericks. It just got way too long for me, and I was stumbling all over the words. So it just wasn't a fun thing to watch, I don't think, me stumbling all the way through and telling you a long story. So hopefully, Stephen, in the future, I will be able to read your full document, but we'll keep it a little brief if you will. I would appreciate it very much. What does Carlos say? Question: in Canada, do you take off your shoes when entering the house? Well, yeah, you just noticed that I did. Yeah, it is something we do when we come in the house. We take our shoes off. I know some people do put slippers on when they come into the houses too. We don't do that, but I walk around in my sock feet or my bare feet, depending on the season. If I was in a sandal or something like that. But yeah, coming into in our house in Canada, generally, I mean, I'm not saying everybody does, but mostly people take their shoes off, especially here in the East Coast. Thank you, Stephen. I know it's hard sometimes to be brief. Maybe 3 fun points or fun facts will be long enough. Oh, you don't take them off in Mexico. Everywhere is different. I'm sure we probably could have a discussion with all the people on here now through Finland and Germany and the United States and the United Kingdom who takes their shoes off when entering someone's house. Or even your own house. Monty's on in Saskatchewan, 13 degrees, a little chilly still there. Hopefully you're not getting too affected by the smoke, but I'm gathering you are from Manitoba. Manitoba's getting some major forest fires right now, and we're even seeing some of the effects way over here in New Brunswick. Sarah says they take their shoes off in Germany. I think one of the reasons that it stems from taking your shoes off, if you're coming from outside, whether it be a snowy condition or a muddy condition, you just don't want to track dirt through someone's house, even your own house. Media says they take their shoes off as well in Finland. So maybe it's not as big of an issue in Mexico, where predominantly it is a drier season. So maybe you wouldn't track as much dirt or moisture into someone's house. But I can't imagine in the winter walking into my house or someone's house with boots on that were tracking slush and snow throughout. Monty says, yeah, lots of smoke, really windy, pouring into Saskatchewan. Carlos says, normally mums will get mad when you're barefoot. It's considered bad habit, as always say you'll become sick. Okay. I have heard in some cultures, maybe Japanese culture too, showing the bottom of your feet is considered rude. So I can see why they put slippers on when entering houses. Ida Marie's at a post-crossing meetup. Well, say hello to everybody else at the meetup. Ida Marie sent me a card of the meetup. It looked really cool with Ben Franklin. Christopher says they don't take their shoes off in his part of the UK. And Wolfie says in his part of UK, shoes on downstairs but off when going up. So presumably that means on the main living floor you keep your shoes on, but when you're going up to the bedrooms, then your shoes come off. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm sure some people don't have a second floor. And bye. Okay, Ida Marie's got to get back to the meetup, but thanks for checking in real quickly. Here we have mops and vacuum cleaners, Steven says. We have those too, but if you don't have to use them every day, why would you want to? Elaine says no shoes, leave them at the door in her part of the UK. So everybody's going to have a little bit of a different tradition of what they do, and probably standards that are respected or cultural differences that take place. So I guess it's good to know when you're traveling around what the traditions are in those countries, so you don't stand out. You can obey what they seem as standard practice. Because I would feel weird if I walked into someone's house and took my shoes off and nobody else took their shoes off. Or vice versa, if I left my shoes on and they looked at me saying, "What are you doing tracking your shoes through our house?" So make sure you know when you travel. What's standard practice? Now, next week is the stamp show once again here, but it is a little different. It's because it's the last stamp show before they break for the summer, so it's going to be the big auction. We're not going to have vendors in there. Normally, I'd be going in and I'd be looking for certain stamps for upcoming giveaways, and some of the countries that I've been talking about on Thursdays, I'm looking for stamps for them. I won't have that option this time. I will be going into the stamp show, looking at what's in the auction, trying to find things that maybe will be fun to talk about. Now, if there are some of the things that I know I'll be putting into giveaways in the future, I will look for those things. But that was one of the reasons why I talked about on Thursday's video, would you like me to continue doing the Americas in semi-alphabetical order as my father has stamps in those countries? Or do you want me to start mixing it up? One, I could mix it up and not just talk about the Americas anymore and start going worldwide. Like you saw Smokey do, like Smokey did. He had a spinning wheel and he just picked a random country every week. It's possible to go to something like that, or I could kind of go back and forth like I did this past week, pick up some of those countries that I showed an overview of the stamps but didn't talk about the countries. I could go back and pick up some of the histories of those. Or should I just carry on what's in my father's collection past Leeward Islands and start talking about those countries? Wonder what your thoughts are. Wolfie says kitchens are downstairs, going into living areas upstairs. We'll take them off, but we don't via habit. Okay. Wolfie says do it. Oh yeah, so changing his sentence, we don't do it via habit. Sarah votes for mixing it up. And Roger says, let's just carry on with the alphabet. Okay, so those two cancel each other out. Part of me wants to continue doing the alphabet just because I've been focusing a lot on those countries that maybe haven't been focused in the philatelic world nearly as much compared to if we focused on Great Britain or France or Germany or Japan or any of the other big philatelic producers of stamps. But then again, a lot of people have talked about those, and we know some of the history of those places. But I don't know. Christopher says, do one week, continue the alphabet, and going back on the ones you missed. Yeah, could do that. Could do an alternating verse, staying in the Americas, but going back and catching up on a few of the countries I missed along the way. The other problem I've been having is not a lot of people are watching these videos, so there's not as much interest in someone tuning in to watch that as there is someone to watch when I say I've got some stamps that were sent to me. More people want to see what got sent. More people want to see my weekly mail, my decorating videos. Those ones all seem to do much better than me doing a history lesson on a country. So maybe people aren't as much interested in the history as they are the stamps. Monty likes the randomness of a draw. So that's what I'm struggling with right now, getting back into routine, is deciding whether or not my Thursday video should be altered, because maybe not as many people are interested in that Thursday video. And I put a lot of work into those Thursday history videos, so if people aren't as interested in seeing them, why put in the work sometimes? Christopher finds it interesting. Good. I do like the history side of it, and that history aspect of what I have in the past. I like to know about the country and what they've gone through to see and put an impression to those stamps to say, well, why did they put out that stamp? Why do they focus on those images on their stamps? What does that have to do with their country? But I know some people just say, just show us the stamps and move on. So I've been trying to promote stamp collecting. I do a lot of other things on this channel too, but when I'm talking about stamps, I like to promote it for new people who maybe weren't into stamp collecting before, or people that have been into stamp collecting, but maybe give them a little bit of other information. Not necessarily the information they know of how much is a stamp going to be worth and the centering of stamps and how many perforations. Not that sort of detail, but when I look at a country, why are these stamps being produced? Wolfie says, would a poll in the community post see what people think? I find it interesting. That opens up things. Yeah, I could do that. Could write a poll. That's a good idea, Wolfie. To see what people are interested in. Stephen says, I enjoy the history despite the fact that it's fairly similar. That's true. The French stole it, then the British stole it, then there's the Revolution, and the Spanish took it over, and British stole. Yeah, that's true. With colonization and with the discovery or the anti-discovery of nations, because there's already people there, it is all kind of similar. There are different people in charge of the countries when they get their independence, and there's some history there. But of late, you're right, Stephen, and I found the same thing. There's been an earthquake, there's been a hurricane, there's been a revolution, there's been a whatever. They're all kind of similar. So, how do I change that, still make it interesting, and then focus on stamps? Was Roger saying it was recorded on the 12th of August, 1961 and released in 1962, recorded in 6 languages, including French? I've missed something along the way. But yeah, Stephen, I agree. Something's got to change in order for people to want to tune in and see it without it becoming all-encompassing. Like, I do a lot of work on the history of it and find some pictures and things that are going to be interesting too, hopefully for people to see, of the countries. And Carla, for example, Mexico is coming up in the alphabet. I don't want to skip out on talking about Mexico. It's an important part of history, and when we look at North America, it's an important part of the Americas. But how do I do it justice? I was pleased when I did Belize this week that the person that was from Belize originally that was looking for that video liked what I presented. So I like that. Same thing with when I did Chile, that I got a message from Isabel saying she appreciated the way that I portrayed her country. So I like hearing back on those that way. But that's one of the things mentally I've been struggling with the schedule, trying to see how exactly are we going to carry on doing this, and is it viable? Is it something that people want to see, or do we want to mix it up a bit? I did say that there will be a new video series coming out. It has nothing to do with hobbies, but it has to do with living in this area. So that will be something different for you guys to watch on the channel if you're interested. Hopefully you are. Because I've always said that this channel is more of a daily vlog of my life. The things that I'm interested in, whether it be post-crossing or stamps or Lego, car shows, craft shows, hikes, all that stuff is on here. So I came across something that I wanted to talk about. And food might be a part of it too in the future. We'll see. My sister's always encouraged me to all these restaurants we go to start talking to them and talk more about the restaurants and do little videos about the places we go to. Part of it I like is, it's been our experience is just to go there, and we have a couple pictures and things just so you can see it. But there is another aspect of it. So I like to talk to the owners and why did they set this up? Where did they come from? So there might be some of that. Wolfie said he's put a package together to send my way. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, normally this Monday would be my video that I showed what stamps came in the mail this week. There weren't any stamps that came in the mail this week, so there won't be such a video on Monday. The only stamp I did have, and I already showed it, came from Paul in the UK. He sent this really cool old Canadian stamp with the Moncton cancellation on it. The stamp is fairly faded, but the cancellation is in great shape. From 1895. So it's kind of neat that he went to a place in England somewhere and saw that cancellation and thought, oh, well, I know where that belongs. And sent it back to Moncton. Stephen says he enjoys history, so he doesn't mind that various countries' histories are similar. I like the way that some of them overlap. So, yeah. It's a wonderful cancellation. That's the second time that someone has sent me a cancellation of Moncton. Very different time periods that they came from, but I've had a few postcards from Moncton that have been sent back to me too, which has been cool. Definitely things from Atlantic Canada have been sent back to me to look at, stamp related and postcard related. Christopher says the problem is you can please some of the people, but you can't please all the people. Well, I know that, definitely. But you are my crew, and that's why I'm posing the question to you guys today, because you're the ones that generally watch most of the stuff that I put out. So it's your views, your opinions that really matter to me, because you have said that you just really like watching the things that I put out, whether it be a hobby related thing or a day-to-day related thing. So it's kind of nice to get feedback from you guys to say, you know what, we like this aspect, we watch it all, but we like this more than that, or we like to do this a bit more. And that says, when Canada Post makes a new series of stamp 1 cent. Oh, when do you mean when is Canada Post making a new series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the small denomination stamps? I don't know. The last ones they did were all the insect ones, and it doesn't sound like they're putting more of those out. They're getting to the point where they're discontinuing them. So they are around. But if I had to guess, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. These are like the 6 cents, the 10-cent stamps, the 7-cent stamps, all these little tiny denominations. I would say Canada Post is more getting towards the printed labels, and so when you buy postage at various degrees of denominations, they're just putting a sticker on now. You're not getting real postage most of the time. So I wonder if they're slowly doing away with those smaller denomination stamps. I hope not, but in the back of my head, that's what I'm thinking. They're probably starting to do away with them. Hopefully that doesn't mean they're going to do away with stamps in their entirety and just go to sticker labels, especially where other countries are kind of ramping up and putting barcodes on and really making postage stamps something that will continue for those countries. But I have heard people talk about those smaller denomination stamps and where they're disappearing to or when they're making new ones. So I have no real true answer on that, what's going to happen. Some walkabout videos of my local area. Yeah, I've done some of those before. I could do some more. Part of that is part of that new series I'm talking about. So I'm already kind of on that page with you, Christopher. But I could do some more about buildings and history and things like that too. Because for me, maybe it's day-to-day seeing this, but for you guys around the world, maybe not, you'll ever get a chance to come here to visit it yourself. So now I've done some walking ones too where the wind really becomes a factor. I've walked along the river that runs through the city, and the wind on the camera and the microphone sometimes makes it hard to hear. I've done some interviews along the waterfront too. So there is that. But I have done videos at, say our local zoo and down along the waterfront and some of the parks. And so you haven't seen some of those videos. Wolfie says they have the same in the UK with some printed ones. I think it does depend on the post office worker if they want to look through the book of stamps Yeah, there's some of that. If you want to really ask your post office person for local stamps, not the stickers, they will do it. But if you don't ask, they won't. They'll just put the label on because that's the easiest thing to do, put metered postage. And it is a real pain in the neck if you've got, I don't know, $27 worth of postage to try to put on an envelope. Alan likes the $1, $2, and $3 more. Well, they're easier to find. I still, from time to time, when I'm mailing out the winner of Stamp of the Month, they'll get those $10 whale stamps, the biggest stamps Canada's ever put out, because at my local post office, they still sell them. So when it costs me 20-something dollars to mail something around the world, I do try to put those on. Now, I did it once to England, and someone stole the stamps off the package. So when it arrived at the recipient's house, they didn't get the stamps, but it still got to the right place, but someone pilfered all the stamps. And the last one I sent to Poland had 2 of those big whale stamps on. He got one of them. Someone took the other one. So there are stamp collectors throughout the postal systems too that unfortunately they go missing. But I have done my best to try to send stamps on the bigger parcels. The littler ones are harder to do that with. And once again, I want to say publicly thank you for all the sympathy cards and messages that have come in. It's nice to know that the world's thinking about you. And also nice to go to a mailbox that seems to be quite full on a regular basis. Not very nice postal workers that do that, no. Oh, Charmaine's on in Maine. Welcome. And Charmaine, you're one of the ones that sent sympathy cards, so thank you so much. Charmaine, have you heard from Olia recently? I watched her latest video. It's really good. Of all the mail that she's gotten in, especially all the birthday mail she got in. But I haven't heard much from Olia in a while. Now, I tend to answer messages when messages are sent more than writing messages. That's what it's been like for the last few weeks anyways. I respond to things that have come in, but I haven't done a lot of actively searching to start conversations. Yeah, Stephen, all the mail that you've been sending has been great. They've been getting stamps, have been arriving, no issues. And your packaging is incredible. Even if an envelope was to rip open, you usually have packaging inside with another address on it. So there should be no reason why anything you mail doesn't get to me. Monty says, lately I've been going to some of the smaller post offices in the area and found some older issues, including some whale stamps. Oh, good. That's the way to do it. If you go to smaller post offices, they don't sell as many stamps. And so sometimes they have some back issued stamps that are just sitting behind the counter. So it's worthwhile going into your local post office and asking, you know, what older stamps might you have back there? Or older collectibles, souvenir sheets, first day covers. A lot of some of those older stuff are in those smaller post offices just because they don't have as many collectors coming there and they don't sell nearly as many stamps. But they get all the stamps as they come out. So some of them have been sitting there a long time. Christopher's got an international sea shanty festival there next week for 3 days. That will be fun. Alain hopes that Canada Post issues new stamps. Interesting ones like the Apollo, before the Apollo. I really like the new Pride stamps that came out. This so colorful, nice images on them. So really happy with those 4 issues. There's some Aboriginal stamps, I think, coming out next week or the week after. So there are some new stamps coming. Wolfie likes a good sea shanty song. had a fun experience last night. Got invited out. My wife's cousin was performing. He's in a band, and so they were having their third live performance. So we went out to a location and saw them perform for a few hours. That was a little different. They played mostly 80s rock and roll music in the set that we listened to. Yeah, it was a fun evening just to get out. On a Friday night, we don't normally get out too much. We have takeout or takeaway, as you may call it, wherever you are. That's usually what our evening plan is, so I don't cook on Friday nights. And then we go for a walk, we get polo, and we watch a couple TV shows, and then go to bed, because we're usually exhausted by the end of the week. So it was a little different to be able to eat and then go out and be like a real adult and mingle with other people. Stephen says Aboriginal art stamps coming out there on Tuesday. Okay. Last week, I got caught up on all my direct swaps. I think I did 28 cards or something to that effect. Just in time to do, I've got 17 more direct swaps to respond to. And I think I've got 24 post-crossing cards that I can send out now. I won't be sending out 24 post-crossing ones, but I probably will try to tackle maybe 6 tomorrow. We'll get started there, and then I'll work my way through direct swaps through the week. Carla has had to cut the direct swaps. That's unfortunate. I've been going the other way. I've been slowing down on the post-crossing. I'm still keeping it going because I love post-crossing. But if people have been writing to me, I definitely want to write them back. Now, sometimes I get 2 or 3 cards from somebody before I respond or get a chance to respond. I only send one back. I don't match card for card. So if someone is generous enough to keep sending, like Media has been very good at sending lots of cards to me. Sometimes I get 2 envelopes in a week, and each envelope has 2 or 3 cards in it. I only send 1 card back in response. But that's just because I've got so many that I can't afford to match card for card. Or when I didn't do it for 2 weeks, I kept the names, and if I got more than one from that same person, I just sent 1 card back as a response. The Apollo mini sheet souvenir stamp. When did that come out, Alain? How long ago was that? I don't remember it. Christopher said the Royal Observatory Greenwich stamp in the UK is next Thursday, June 12th. I'm waiting for things at work to get settled with the contract before I go off. I want to order new postcards for the channel and maybe some stickers as well, just so when people write me for the first time and I respond to them, I'd like to be able to send them back a that dad guy card like I used to. And I know October the 1st is World Postcard Day, so I'll have to start thinking about the design for that card too, because I see other ones are coming out. I also was approached to be part of a virtual meetup in the middle of July, so I'm thinking about that, whether or not I fit that in. Probably should be able to, but it is a little later in the evening for me on a work night, so that runs into a bit of a problem, but we'll see. Oh, Alain, I was just wondering, you said Apollo mini sheet souvenir stamp. Is there one coming out, or is it one that you enjoyed that came out in the past? C'est un nouvel timbre de Apollo. Un vieux. Thank you, Medea. You're going to have Pride Meetup cards. A new stamp, okay. I don't know. I don't know anything about that one. We had to turn the air conditioning on in the house yesterday. I've been very reluctant to do so. I wanted to have a break between having the heat on and having the air conditioning on, but we had to break down. It was just so hot upstairs that we needed the cool air to even be able to sleep at night. So the night that it was 34 degrees, it was just, we went from it being 10 or 11 one day to high 20s and low 30s in just a short period of time. So today it feels like it's a little cooler with the bit of rain we've had outside, so it's cooled things off a little bit. But I do have the air conditioning running upstairs. I don't have it on this floor, but it seems to be okay. It's funny the differences of the topics we talk about from week to week. Generally, we talk about stamps at some point for some little while. But last week, what were we talking about last week? It was completely off the wall, completely different. You guys remember? It's a test to see who remembers last week's discussions. And thank you to all the people that watch as part of the replay crew. Sometimes watching a live stream isn't nearly as fun, especially if you don't see the comments. That's why I try to tend to read the comments as they come out. So when you're watching it in replay, you get a sense of who's saying what in the background and why I'm responding to those questions the way I am. So thank you to everybody who watches in the replay when you don't get a chance to see it first time. There's the shout out to you guys. And thank you to everybody who is continuing to subscribe to the channel. The channel keeps growing. Just do a refresh on the subscribers right now. We're at 2,339 subscribers. So we are inching our way up every day, closer and closer to a new milestone. It's very exciting to see. Speaking of live streams, next Tuesday, make sure you go to Snail Mail with Smokey at 12 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time or 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are going to be doing our second Stamp versus Stamp live stream together. This time I'm a guest on his channel. Last month he was a guest on my channel. So if you want to know what's going on with Smokey these days, because he's not putting out as many videos right now, might be a good chance to ask him a few questions. Christopher's looking forward to it. Yeah, we linked it around the same time as that I do these ones, except on a Tuesday instead. So that it does become a little difficult. People are at work or just getting up, but hopefully some of you can make it. We had a good time last month when we did it. Be nice to see Smokey again. Wolfie will put it on his calendar. Great. So in 3 days' time. And they usually run for about, well, usually this will be our second one, but live streams usually don't go longer than an hour. Sometimes, like on my Wednesday live streams, they don't normally go past 30 minutes. We decorate a card, we can do all that stuff within a 30-minute time frame. Not a big time commitment. Some people that are joining are just on their lunch hours or a break at work. I've been going over to see my father almost every day. I'm gonna try to slowly pull back, so I'm not doing it every day, just for his routine and for him to have a little bit of quiet down time too. But he's been doing well. People have been asking about my father, so he's been doing well. We went out. Well, yesterday my sister was in town, so she visited with him. On Thursday, he and I went for a nice drive. It was a beautiful day. It was hot out, so we had the air conditioning of the car, and drove around a little bit in the outskirts of the city, and where you could see the trees and the hills and the lakes and things. So we had a good time. So he's doing well. That's my update on my father. Probably next time I go see him, I will take this in so he can see it. I know he doesn't remember nearly as much about his stamp collecting, but he still appreciates when I bring stamps in to see him, so he still likes them. He just doesn't remember all the hard work that he's put into creating a stamp collection back there. So I think he might enjoy seeing that old stamp with a cancellation of Moncton on it. So once again, Paul, if you happen to be watching this at some point in time, thank you very much. Yeah, good weather this week. There's always been that threat of rain, but it either doesn't come or it comes at a good time, like during the evening when we're sleeping. So right now, where it's supposed to be pouring rain outside and it's bright and sunny out there, I wonder what we'll actually get. Guess I need to get rid of Constantine. He's figured it out. I am laundering money. I need to be reported to Interpol, apparently. That is a weird comment to make in someone's live stream right off the bat. But hey, if that's what you want to say, go for it. Christopher got a box of 100 postcards on Friday depicting button badges. It came from a Busy Beaver Button Museum in Chicago. So all sorts of like political buttons. That's what you mean by a button badge? Any sort of circular badge that might have been a political button or a slogan of some sort. But all in postcard form. Neat. You'll have to take some pictures. You know, Stephen, if I had any money to launder, well, any money I have now, I definitely wouldn't put it in the laundry, first of all. But yeah, I don't have any kind of means to be able to send it anywhere. I don't know how you would even go about doing that. But wouldn't it nice to be wealthy and not have to worry about money? We can only imagine, most of us. I think laundering Canadian money would be all right because it's plastic. Putting it in the dryer would be another situation because it would all wrinkle up in the heat. And I know that's not what money laundering is, but the world is full of weird people. Yes. I'm one of them. Half the fun is not being wealthy. Is it though? Is half the fun not being wealthy? I think I'd like to look at the other side for a while, the other half of the fun that is being wealthy. Wouldn't it be nice to have enough money that you could just be generous all the time? Christopher would like to win the lottery. Wouldn't we all? I'd like to be able to get a new computer, get a desk chair that is comfortable and isn't squeaky. That would be nice. We're going to work our way to someone out there somewhere is going to own a chair company, a desk chair company, and want to send it to me so I can test it out and relay on it. Maybe they'll send 2 because my wife works at home. She could use one too. Or maybe Apple Computer is watching and they'll want to update my computer that's 15 years old. Do they have a national lottery? Yes, we have a national lottery. Lotto 649 or Lotto Max. Every week or twice a week there's a lottery. Amelia did the lottery this week, paid £1 or paid €1 and could win $2 million. Well, let's hope you do, Amelia. You deserve it. €2 million, wouldn't that go a long way? But you know what? I'm probably never going to win the lottery because I hardly ever play. I have bought it from time to time, like as a buy a ticket to put in my wife's Christmas stocking or something like that. But most of the time, I know the odds are stacked against me of ever winning, so why waste any more money trying? It's not much fun being poor, but if you had so much money that you could afford anything you wanted, it would take the enjoyment out of it. There is some truth to that. If you could buy whatever you wanted whenever you wanted, there wouldn't be the excitement of having to save up for something or have something intangible that was out of reach. But on the other hand, wouldn't it be nice to be able to just get on a plane and go to whatever country you wanted to see and stay at a really nice hotel and eat the best food that was around and not have to worry about it? Someone had said that about stamp collecting. Stamp collecting isn't about completing a collection. It's about the journey along the way and enjoying the stamps that you have. Because you could go on eBay and say, or someplace, an auction, and say, I want all of the stamps from this particular country, and just buy them. You could do it if you had the money to do so. But what fun is that to go and just say, okay, I don't have it, now I have all of it. What are you going to do with it? If all these books were complete behind me, would I ever look at them? Would I ever do anything with them? I don't think so. I have Lego downstairs that I bought and like, but once I built it, I haven't done anything with it. Is it a waste of money? Maybe. Is it a good investment? I probably could turn around and sell it for more in the future. Yeah. But the fun of it is buying a set, waiting till that just right time to build it. Maybe it's right away when you get it. The enjoyment of putting it together and having to display it. If I could just buy any set anytime, I don't know if I would even buy the sets. You might have 1 or 2 to display. I don't know, something to think about, I guess. That's all we can do because I don't have all the money in the world to do all those things. But I do have a list of places that I would love to travel, and I have a list of things that I'd like to eat, and cars I'd love to go drive in one day. If Christopher won the lottery, he'd pay for everyone to have a meetup. Wouldn't that be cool if we all got together in person to have a meetup? All expenses paid trip to Falmouth. Wolfie would like to have a house in the middle of nowhere. That seclusion, there is something about that would be wonderful. It also is nice to have people around to socialize with. But it is drawing some attention. Dina has joined. Newbie to post-crossing. I've received 4 cards, just got an envelope full of old stamps. Like I won the lottery. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I try to do that when people say they're stamp collectors. I try to put their postcards for post-crossing in an envelope and throw in a few Canadian stamps just to help people out. And I know people have done the same thing to me, so it's a great thing. And it's a wonderful experience to get a little extra something as a surprise in the mail. I don't like it when people put on their profiles, could you send me, and then a list of all these things. That's not what post-crossing is about. So when someone in post crossing is willing to do something a little extra, that's really nice. Charmaine doesn't live very far from Falmouth, Maine, not Falmouth, UK. Yeah, I put I think it was a train show video, a Salisbury train show video, and someone from Salisbury, England wrote and said, where is this train show? I don't know it. It wasn't in your country. We just happen to have the same city or town name because of all the immigration from Great Britain, or colonization, however you want to put it. We have a lot of city and town names over here that are duplicates of European places. You were saying that 151 days of traveling, but your post-crossing card did reach its destination, did get registered, which is the important thing. Sometimes people do receive cards, but don't register them right away as well. So it may not have taken that long to get. In your case, probably did, but sometimes it doesn't take as long as they say they take. Just people forget about registering the cards and then register them when they find them again. I have had that happen, saying, sorry, I forgot to register this card. I just found it. It's been 2 months, or it's been whatever. I figure as soon as you send the card and it's off into the world, your job is done. You've sent your message, you've decorated, you've picked the card that you think appropriate. Now you're hoping that the postal systems that receive the card along the way do their job, and one day it'll arrive at its destination, and someone will do their job and register it and get to enjoy it. But I think of all the people between the time I put it in the mailbox or take it to work and mail it that way, all the people that have gotten a chance to look at the image on the card or take in the decorations or maybe even read the message. A lot of people get to enjoy that postcard before it gets to its recipient. Whether it takes 151 days or whether it takes 5 days to get there, doesn't really matter as long as the card is enjoyed along the way. Christopher says, reading the personal profile, they travel a lot, so they may have just got caught up with them. That's true. Maybe they were away. Wolfie says, 151 days, that'd be a funny thing if you go on holiday and send one to a friend, then you be at work 151 days later and they say, I thought you was on holiday, since they got a postcard. I don't understand, but I just got ringing in my ears for some reason. I know that feeling like when you go in an airplane and you just get to level off at a certain height. That's what happened in my ears. Well, folks, it looks like conversation is drying up. So, I think I'm going to go get on with the day here. Get some groceries done this afternoon. I think I'm going to print out the addresses for all the people that I'm going to do direct swaps with over the next week. Oh, there's Eric from Hong Kong. Just as I'm trying to wrap things up, he popped on and say hello. Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying now, Wolfie, that if you were writing in your postcard that you were on holidays and then 151 days later they got the card and they think that you're just still on holidays. Yeah, I get it. Good to talk to everyone else. Thank you, Christopher. So I'm going to go off and enjoy the day and see how things are going on. Hopefully the grass keeps growing, and I'll have more to show you next week when we talk. And hopefully you'll enjoy some of the videos I get to put out between now and then. And I think maybe, Wolfie, I will take you up on your suggestion and put a poll out there and see what people want me to do with that video on Thursdays. All right, that's going to be it for today, guys. Everybody else enjoy the rest of their days, whatever you're planning on doing. Have a magical week.